Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for taking your seats, and thank you for joining us tonight at this gala dinner honoring this year's recipients of the SFU President's Distinguished Community Leadership Award. For those of you I have not had the privilege of meeting, I'm Michael Stevenson, the President of SFU, and on behalf of all my colleagues, a very, very warm welcome to a great evening in the calendar of the university. This event, as all important events at SFU, was introduced by the music of the pipes, in this case played by Aidan Caves, who is a member of the junior band, part of the SFU Pipe Band organization, one of the most distinguished musical organizations in the world. This last August, for the second year in a row, and for the sixth year in just over a decade, the SFU Pipe Band won the World Championships at Glasgow, becoming indisputably the greatest pipe band in the world. So Aidan, thank you, and please pass on our congratulations to all your colleagues. We're delighted to welcome so many friends of Art Phillips and Carole Taylor this evening, but I would like particularly at the outset to recognize a number of very special guests who I will ask to stand and be recognized after I've announced their names. First, the Chancellor of SFU, Brant Louis, and his wife Belinda, the Chancellor Emeritus, Joe Siegel, and his wife Rosalie, and SFU's President Emeritus, Jack Blaney. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome those distinguished guests. I would like also to recognize members of the Board of Governors, who I will again ask to stand and be recognized. The current chair of our board, Michael Francis, two past chairs, Nancy McKinstry and Don Hudson, and current board members, Eri Dillon and Anne Giardini. Ladies and gentlemen, members of our Board of Governors. And finally, on this occasion, it is a great pleasure to welcome back past recipients of the Distinguished Community Leadership Award who are with us tonight and who again I will ask to stand and be introduced. Michael Ordain, Jack Farley, George and Jane Hungerford, Gerald and Cheyenne McGavin, and Philip Owen, past recipients of this award. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to have you all with us tonight on this great occasion. The Distinguished Community Leadership Award reflects SFU's profound commitment to engagement in the community and in service to our community. Through this award, we celebrate the leaders of our community today, and we reaffirm our commitment to educating and creating the leaders of tomorrow. SFU's commitment to community engagement runs deep. This university was founded to expand access to higher education to sectors of our community historically deprived of that great opportunity. And the university expanded by escaping the ivory tower and coming down from the mountain with the establishment over 20 years ago of our campus in downtown Vancouver, which now includes the original Harbor Center building, the Wash Center for Dialogue, the Siegel Graduate School of Business, and opening this year the magnificent new School for Contemporary Arts as a partner in the massive redevelopment of the Woodward site. And our outreach to the wider urban community has continued at the periphery of the Greater Vancouver region with the establishment of the vibrant new SFU campus in Surrey, which makes a huge contribution to the social and economic transformation of that fastest growing region in our province. SFU's engagement in the community is rooted in a commitment to the involvement of our faculty and students in active dialogue and action research, and it is rooted in a commitment to partnership and collaboration in community development. And so, ladies and gentlemen, SFU's Distinguished Community Leadership Award is established to exemplify the values of active citizenship, community engagement, and leadership that are so integral to the culture of our university. And it has been my great pleasure over the last 10 years as president of SFU to be associated through this award with some of the most remarkable individuals in our community. And tonight, it is an especial honor to be making this award for the last time in my career as president to two extraordinary individuals. Individuals who live and breathe the values we espouse. Individuals whose high intelligence and drive has been translated into leadership and success in their individual professional and business careers. Individuals whose personal magnetism and, dare I say it, impossibly good looks have attracted the most wide-ranging network of friendship and influence. Individuals whose wonderful personal relationship has produced the multiplication of influence that is rare even amongst the power couples in our community. And individuals whose commitment to our community has been expressed in leadership positions that have crisscrossed the boundaries of private and public sectors, positions in both the provincial and federal governments, and of course at the municipal level. Through their leadership and service, they have made a lasting impact on our city, our province, and our country. Much more will be said about them tonight, and I simply want to express my warmest congratulations to our guests of honor. Carole and Art, it is a great pleasure to be honoring you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now a pleasure to introduce this evening's Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Bill Richardson, writer, broadcaster, and host at CBC Radio. He has contributed to CBC Radio since 1984 and has been the host of a number of programs, both on CBC Radio 1 and Radio 2. They include Crosswords, As You Like It, Richardson's Roundup, Canada Reads, and Bunny Watson. And he is currently the host of the radio program Saturday Afternoon at the Opera and In Concert. His books include Bachelor's Brothers Bed and Breakfast, which won the Stephen Leacock Award for Humor, and After Hamelin, a novel for children and winner of the Silver Birch Award. He has been the recipient of a Vancouver Arts Award and a gold medal for fiction in the National Magazine Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to welcome Bill Richardson.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. And it was very nice of you to mention as well that I'm here because they asked me before they hired Tony Parsons. Ian Hannah-Mansing was busy. It's a wonderful honor to be here, especially with two such distinguished honorees and such a room full of fascinating people. I've rarely seen such an assemblage. And of course to be here with my colleagues from CBC. I know I would never, except on this one occasion, say that I can speak on their behalf, but I think that they won't disagree when I say that we're very, very pleased to be able to be here as one of the sponsors of this event, a partner with Simon Fraser University. And it's certainly true about the two of you. You are the handsomest couple in show business. It remains so. Of course, at CBC, we have a huge fondness for Carole Taylor. She started out as one of us at the beginning of her career and then had a very distinguished time as well for about 5 years as the president of the CBC, and is, as near as I can recollect, and I've been there for a long time now, the only president who was able to serve any kind of tenure without visibly aging. So I'm not sure, like Hubert Lacroix, not looking good. You know what I'm saying? Well, he runs, which is a skill he'll find useful. As noted, a great honor to be here with such distinguished honorees, and also with the Simon Fraser University connection. I was so intrigued, Michael, by what you just said about the place of this university in the community and the fact that the university sponsors this Community Leadership Achievement Award. And I mean, of course, for the longest time, we expected there to be a separation. Universities were separated by dint of where they were placed, outside of a city on a mountain. There was the whole town and gown kind of thing. There was the business of the ivory tower. But of course, we expect our universities now to be something more than that. And Simon Fraser University has shown so brilliantly and thoughtfully and with such strategy and care, I think, how this can be accomplished in the community. My route to work takes me down, I walk down Hastings Street every day, and I pass by the Woodwards building, and what's happening now, and what's happened along Hastings Street, in large measure due to the presence of Simon Fraser University in that place, it's extraordinary. I know so many people who when they've left school have found their lives enriched, for instance, by taking the liberal arts program that Simon Fraser has. That Center for the Performing Arts is an amazing thing already. When it's fully up and running, it's going to be fantastic. The campuses in Burnaby and in Surrey, the university has done wonderful things for the community. SFU certainly can be said to walk the walk, so a great pleasure for that. And this has been happening over the last 10 years. To a remarkable degree under the leadership, under the stewardship of Michael Stevenson. And I would like to ask you to join me in acknowledging Michael Stevenson's, who is Simon Fraser University's longest serving president, and after 10 years of exemplary service, will retire in August. And so he and his wife, Jan Whitford, that great literary maven, have made tremendous contributions to SFU and the community during their time here. So would you join me in acknowledging them and thanking them for that? And just very briefly, I would also like to acknowledge some of the sponsors who have helped make this evening possible. And during dinner, you'll be able to see their names flashed on the screen, which will be considerably more attractive than what is there now. Really, I should have exfoliated. Maybe it's not too late. So what I'll do is read the names and ask these representatives of these various companies and agencies to stand, and then if you can withhold your applause. Well, I've been asked to ask you to withhold your applause, but you know what? We're grown-ups, so you can do whatever you want. We'll begin with John Montalbano, CEO of Phillips, Hager and North Investment Management Limited. Whoa, John sets the tone right away with some applause off the top. What are we going to hear for Susan Wood, Manager, Partnerships and Sponsorships for CBC? Susan? I've been worried all day that I'm going to say National Communist, but in fact it's Gary Mason, National Columnist with the Globe and Mail. He is, of course, a rational communist. And then Lisa Vogt, partner with McCarthy Tetro LLP. Jason Brooks and Deborah Overholt, partners at Borden, Ladner and Gervais. Once again, a big round of applause for them all. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, enjoy the evening, enjoy your meals, have some lovely conversations. I know there's going to be no shortage of that. And the formal proceedings will begin once we've had dinner. Gentlemen, if we can just resume. I think it's time that we come to the main business of the evening. Some of you are better at settling down than others. Do you know, it used to be in the days that, well, probably some of us can remember that when there was a a big gathering like this that some of the banquet inevitabilities would be the saying of grace and the singing of some anthem, God Save the Queen, most typically. And we don't usually do those things anymore, but I don't think it's a bad idea just to reflect on what we've just shared here in a world fraught and riven, that we have the good fortune to be in this beautiful room, in this extraordinary company, and that we've had this great food. And just to reflect on that for a second and to say thank you so much to the marvelous staff here at the Four Seasons who have made this possible. Thank you very, very much. So great universities, and there's certainly no contesting that Simon Fraser University is one of those. Are sustained by the contributions of the administration and the faculty, the researchers and the students, but equally important is the involvement of the community and its leaders. The involvement of the community and leaders with the university, and the involvement of the university with the community, as we've said. And so it's in recognition of this that Simon Fraser University is presenting the Simon Fraser University President's Distinguished Community Leadership Award. Now this is an award of some considerable long-standing. I think perhaps this is the 26th time. I shouldn't mention a number without being absolutely sure, but it's an institution within the institution. And it recognizes and honors individuals or organizations for evidently distinguished service and distinguished leadership in our community. Now, in case you're interested in the criteria that are brought to bear in making the selection process, I'll just go over them with you very quickly. These are the expression and execution of high purpose and service to the community at large, impact in the community which authority alone would not explain, innovative approaches to community concerns and aspirations, persistent effort and contribution to the creation of a strong sense of community. Now, I think it's interesting to think about what it is that people who emerge within communities as leaders, what it is they share. And I think that one thing is they tend to be, visionaries. They have, for one thing, a sense of rootedness. They feel a strong sense of belonging to the place that they're from. And they also have, and this, curiously, not everyone does, I think, a belief in the possibilities of progress, of that place in which they are rooted, of seeing that place and of bringing it along to apply that vision to the creation of something new, arguably something better. And this is done through public work and through private work, about which, of course, often nothing is heard. And so we have our two very distinguished honorees, Carole Taylor and Art Phillips, who have had this extensive involvement in civic politics, in provincial politics, in federal politics, on boards of all kinds, public and business, involvements in business. We all know who they are, and we all know why we're here. Community leaders such as Carole Taylor and Art Phillips and previous award recipients exhibit the values and the qualities that Simon Fraser University students also aim to achieve. They are the inspirations for the next generation, and maybe this point is most important and most germane, that the people who receive these awards are exempla of what these students, what young people who are just coming into themselves in the world might also achieve. So tonight we are gathered to celebrate the many important and meaningful contributions of Carole Taylor and Art Phillips, and we're going to show you a video which is going to provide more detail and insight into who they are and also into something of their legacy. And now I'd like to invite Michael Stevenson, the president of Simon Fraser University, back to the stage and to this podium to make the official presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to announce the 2010 recipients of the SFU Presidents Distinguished Community Leadership Award, Carole Taylor and Art Phillips.
Thank you so much. Art always said that one of the really good signs of a leader is that he knows how to delegate. And so once again, his brilliant leadership has delegated me to say thank you to everyone. I mean, that was, I really feel after that video, I should have probably left the room. But we do appreciate this, and it gives me a chance to thank SFU for this really special award. Special because it's the two of us, I think, in particular. But also to congratulate SFU for really taking over the heart of Vancouver. And I think you have done that over the years by moving to the downtown campus, the Seagull Business Center, the WASC Center for Dialogue, now Woodward's. And of course, you've been able to do that as a university because of the really exceptional leadership that you've had from your chancellors, your presidents, and your board of directors. And I think in particular, Michael, I would like to thank you for our relationship working together, but also for the job that you've done for SFU over the years, and we will miss you as you move on to your next position. And I happen to know where he's going to be living. Now, I have to say to Arturo, there are some dangers in delegating. And one of the dangers is that I get to talk about art. And as you saw with Michael Geller's comments and so many of the others in the video, he and I, of course, have been so interested and involved in public policy all of our lives. But it really is important, I think, when you think about today's public policy and future directions, that we always remember to put it in context, the context of historical public policy. And nowadays, we're all talking about green cities and green provinces, but in fact it was Art and the team group, including May Brown, who is here tonight, who really changed the direction of Vancouver at a point that it was at a crossroads. It truly was. Vancouver could have followed the path of so many American cities that really became sort of these empty concrete jungles at night, or it could have taken the path that has led to our livable, wonderful city. So what I did was go and pull out Art's inaugural speech from his very first, just after his election. He was elected in '72, so the inaugural speech was in '73, just in January. And it is the most remarkable political document that I have read. And it, in just a few pages, is so full of ideas and directions and how we're going to get there that if you're an academic or a researcher or an aspiring young politician, you should take hold of that document and have a look at what he laid out. Because he said, first of all, we've got to stop expressways. Expressways into the heart of a city destroy a city. And he did that in part because when he was an alderman, he and Walter Hardwick did the really good trick of always reading the back pages of the engineering reports. I'm telling everyone in this room, read the back pages. He discovered that the city had been buying up properties in Strathcona that would be the off-ramp for the expressways. So the first thing they said we were going to do, we'll sell off those properties. And you can't climb back once you've sold off those properties. But he also felt that the zoning in Vancouver at that time actually discouraged, not only discouraged, forbid residential downtown. From my experience, I think that's probably the most important switch that happened, because if you have no residential downtown, then at 6 o'clock when the offices close, of course, everybody goes home, and they are empty. If you have people who live there, as we fortunately do now, you live there, you have the services, you have the restaurants, you have the bars, you have the community, you have people on the streets, and it is a completely different city. He then, and this is all in his first speech, he then said we must work with the Lower Mainland to develop a livable region plan so that we encourage other municipalities to have density and office space in their areas so that they also get people who live and work close together. So you're taking some of the stress off of the need for cars downtown. He went on to say that if it's going to be a pedestrian-friendly and environmentally friendly city, then we'll start planting trees everywhere. We'll just make it green in the real sense. But we will also protect the entrance to Stanley Park. We'll open that up, and if those of you remember, there were talks of being big developments right at the entrance to Stanley Park. We'll open that up, and then he says we've got to take back the waterfront. And maybe that, just as much as the downtown residential, changed Vancouver. He talked about False Creek, and we all know what a model False Creek became for cities around the world. He says, we'll do False Creek. We will start a cultural committee. We'll start a heritage committee that does an inventory for the first time of what we've got and how we go forward and how we save it. And we'll get rid of billboards. And this speech just goes bang, bang, bang. He says, this person will be in charge of this one will do this is the deadline on this. And they marched through that agenda in the first year. And one of the most important, I think, for the community initiatives was that he said, we're going to change how government's done. We're going to start having council meetings at night so people can actually come to the meeting. Those people who can't take time off work, we need to hear their voices. We'll have public hearings. We'll do them in the evening so neighborhoods have a chance to say something. And if it's a big neighborhood issue, then the council will go to the neighborhood, the public hearings will be in the neighborhood. All of this was opening up politics to the people of the community. And because of those initiatives and changes that worked through Art and his team, we have this very precious city. And then I come along, and of course, I'm somebody who can't seem to keep a job. But in many ways, I followed in Art's footsteps. So his council redeveloped the South Shore of False Creek, and we redeveloped the North Shore of False Creek. They stopped the expressway through into the center of the city and through Strathcona, and we fought against the highway right along the waterfront that would have done just as much damage. There were so many initiatives and parallels where they redeveloped the downtown zoning, we redeveloped the south downtown zoning. And so while we had a chance always to have our political debates and arguments, and you win some and you lose some, I think our vision for what was possible was very similar. I then went on and had the fortunate chance, of course, to work with the federal government on the privatizing of the port system across the country, and then was asked to be chair of CBC Radio-Canada. And I really felt that it was crucial that those folks who, the center of power being Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal, really started to have a sense of who this whole country was, not just the West, but also the Atlantic region, because the taxpayers of the country will pay for public broadcasting as long as they can relate and see their own stories on the screens. And so I agreed to do it, but my provision was this, that we move the office of the chair of CBC to the West. And we went back and forth before I finally agreed to do it. And so, of course, in the first press conference, I mentioned that it was very important that the chair's office was moving to the West. Like that, I got a call from Ottawa saying, "What are you saying?" And I said, "Well, you know, that was the deal." And they said, "Yeah, we know it was, but don't tell anybody." That is the truth. And so I've had the chance to explore policy, public policy in different forms in different areas and been very lucky. I would say to you, my recent experience in the finance ministry has been one of the best pieces of work that I feel that I've done, to a great extent because of the leadership of Tamara Vrooman, whom you were listening to, and the finance ministry. It is so crucial that we have a public service that is respected and honored and appreciated and listened to. And I just had that wonderful cocoon of talent and expertise around me that made that experience, something quite special. And followed it up, in fact, with this past year doing the Economic Council for the federal government, where again we were a group around a table, no cameras, off the record, top business people across the country sitting down with the Minister of Finance, trying to give guidance and help and policy in terms of how we get through this crisis. So Art and I feel that we've both been blessed with the opportunities we've had. We thank SFU and we thank all of you for coming tonight. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is very little more to add except to say what a remarkable demonstration of the powers of good delegation. I'm hoping that Jan is starting to prepare for similar events in the future. Let me say also what a great capsule summary of what community leadership is all about. Powerful interventions in matters of great strategic importance on behalf of the community, the ability of individual leadership to shape the future of our communities. And finally, let me say what I hope is abundantly clear to Carole and to Art, that this room is ample expression of the great respect with which you are held in this community, the enthusiastic acknowledgement of the great contributions you have made to our city, to our province, and to our country, but I think above all else, the genuine affection. This is a couple genuinely beloved in this community and justly celebrated tonight. So on behalf of us all, once again to Carole and to Art, our thanks and our congratulations for all that you have done on our behalf. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things we insist on at SFU is that we conclude things on time. It's been a wonderful privilege to hold this celebration tonight to honor two fantastic citizens and leaders in our community, and it has been our great honor to have you join with us tonight in that celebration. Thank you for being with us tonight. Travel carefully. Good night.